The views expressed by the host on this program documented to be almost always right 99.7% of the time. Happy to have you here, ladies and gentlemen. Rush Limbaugh, outpost of truth, justice, and the American way at 800-282-2882. If you want to send an email, it's lrushbo@eibnet.com. So, Indiana's going to fix the law. Mike Pence, the governor, went out there. He's going to fix the law, going to clarify the law. Why does Pence have to fix his law? Why can't he just refuse to enforce it like Obama does? Obama can just waive parts of laws he doesn't like. If Obamacare comes along and it's going to be too punitive for some Democrat donors, he just waives it. He just grants them exemption. Why doesn't Pence just say, I'll do the same thing Obama does? You know, I'll selectively enforce this law, or I'll refuse to enforce it on those occasions where it would be in my best interest not to enforce it. Just leave it to me. Hillary Clinton, by the same token, she can delete emails as she pleases. She can lie about it. She can say, no, I don't know what I'm really doing here. I had two devices and it got to be too cumbersome, and so I just have one. And I've sent you 30,000 emails, and I've deleted the other 33,000 because you don't need to see them. Don't doubt me. Trust me. Well, Hillary Clinton can just delete emails as she pleases. She can lie about how many devices. She can shield whatever it is she's doing from anybody. And the media and the Democrat Party will wantonly support her. Why does Mike Pence have to do anything? Yeah, of course, damn well it's double standards. Then, of course, you have the Apple CEO, Tim Cook. He weighed in. You know, this is an amazing thing that he did. He didn't insert himself into this. He inserted Apple into it. He inserted the company he runs into this whole thing in Indiana and beyond. And the problem there is the iPhone, Apple products just went on sale in Saudi Arabia. You know what they do to homosexuals in Saudi Arabia? It's the same thing they do to them in Iran. If they find them, they stone them, or they behead them, or they put them in jail, and they certainly get them out of sight. There's no such thing as equality. Like Mahmoud Ahmadinejad at Columbia, when a student asked him about gays in Iran, he said, we don't have any of those. And the audience started laughing. And Ahmadinejad said, do you know some? Can you tell me where they live? He was serious. So in Saudi Arabia, and by the way, Apple has expressed an interest in opening some Apple stores in Iran now. But somehow Indiana is the focus of evil when it comes to equality. There's a bunch of Chicoms. There's a bunch of other countries around the world which are genuinely, truly discriminatory, violently so, against homosexuals. Not a word is said about any of that. So Mike Pence, at 11 o'clock this morning, a little over a couple hours ago, took the stage and the microphones to announce that he was going to fix the law. Let's listen to some excerpts of his remarks.
Clearly, there's been misunderstanding and confusion and mischaracterization of this law. And I come before you today to say how we're going to address that. I don't believe for a minute that it was the intention of the General Assembly to create a license to discriminate or a right to deny services to gays, lesbians, or anyone else in this state. And it certainly wasn't my intent. But I can appreciate that that's become the perception, not just here in Indiana, but all across this country.
Right. Well, why? Why does he appreciate that that's become the perception? Because there's a bunch of demagoguery going on out there. The Democrats are demagoguing and lying about this. And so the Republicans have to respond. Oh, yes, it's required. It is incumbent. The Democrats throw out false accusations all the time, like Harry Reid saying he has got somebody told him that Mitt Romney has never paid his income taxes. It was up to Romney to respond to that kind of Blatant defamation and lies. Harry Reid never produced his friend, and he never produced any evidence. So we're back to the seriousness of the charge angle. Even though there's no evidence that there's any discrimination that's been licensed here in Indiana, they still have to defend the charge. Why? Why do they have to defend the charge? This is the same thing that Clarence Thomas was up against with the Anita Hill hearings when he was being confirmed for the U.S. Supreme Court. Baseless charge, no evidence to support it anywhere. Seriousness of the charge demands that he respond. It's a trick. This law is a shield. It is not a weapon. And this kind of discrimination is, again, they're trying to make it look like it happens all the time, every day, blatantly so, when it doesn't. Pence next says that he abhors discrimination, which he no doubt does. But that's not going to mollify. He cannot modify these people. That's not the point. There is no solution. Indiana could not solve this. There is no solution. The left doesn't want a solution. They don't want this to end, no matter what Indiana did.
I abhor discrimination. The way I was raised was like most Hoosiers, with the golden rule, that you should do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I believe in my heart of hearts that no one should be harassed or mistreated because of who they are, who they love, or what they believe. We've got a perception problem here because some people have a different view. This law does not give anyone a license to deny services to gay and lesbian couples. And look, I could have handled that better this weekend. But going into that interview this weekend, I was just determined to set the record straight about what this law really is.
He's talking about the gotcha interview with Stephanopoulos, in which Stephanopoulos was not listening to anything he said. Just says yes or no. Yes or no. Does this law allow Indiana Christians to discriminate against gays? Yes or no, Governor? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? And he tried to answer it as he's answering it now, and that was not acceptable. Next, he said he was taken aback. It was just, he had no idea there would be this kind of backlash. Now, Mike Pence was in the House of Representatives for, I don't know, at least a couple of terms, and he was a member of the House when this kind of crap was happening daily. And to say that he was taken aback, I don't know. I don't know how anybody could be surprised at this. This is predictable. In fact, if I didn't know better, I would say this whole thing is a Democrat-constructed piece of legislation in Indiana designed for this exact purpose. Now, that's not what happened, but it very well could be, because this is exactly what everybody wants out of this. This is what people don't. The left is loving this. This is nirvana for them. Anyway, here's Pence.
Was I expecting this kind of backlash? Heavens, no. Candidly, when this erupted last week, even though I'd made my position clear weeks ago that I would sign the bill without much discussion, I was taken aback. And I have to tell you that the gross mischaracterizations about this bill early on, and some of the reckless reporting by some in the media about what this bill was all about, was deeply disappointing.
Well, it may be deeply disappointing, but it was imminently predictable. This is what they do. The subject of gay rights comes up, it ought to be the biggest red flag. You ought to know what you're getting into, and if you're going to go there, you better have a response ready to go.